Hello, Simmers. We're here with some FHM 11, and in this one, I'm here to announce that our community online FHM league, the Simmers and Sinners Hockey League, otherwise known as the SSHL, is now open for pre-registration. As you can see, we have all 32 NHL teams in this league. I'm hoping for this league to be a beginner-friendly experience while also being fun and competitive for FHM veterans. And of course, as a content creator, I have to make things interesting, right? So there's going to be some fun twists that are implemented in the league. And of course, those will be communicated prior, no surprises. There's going to be some custom players for sure. Also, this is not going to be a daily simulation league. We're going to be running simulations on a weekly basis at minimum, with each simulation going for about 2 in-game weeks at a time, with the exception of during the playoffs, during the trade deadline, or other key in-game dates. So here on the SSHL page on the Jasinner website, which will be linked in the description, there are links to the league rules and info, which we'll go over right now. So just give you a general overview of the league. Of course, I'm the commissioner. The in-game start date is July 1st, 2024. It gives you instructions on how to join the league, which I will get to at the end of this video for those of you who will need a visual tutorial. It tells you how to finalize the changes to your team, what can be done by me as the commissioner. And then you have our in-house rules and regulations, which I will go through briefly right now, but make sure to read this. First and foremost, adults only, okay? Now, I'm aware that minors may just want to fake their age, right? But this rule is in place for a reason. 99% of this community, at least according to YouTube analytics, is made up of adults. So if you're a minor, please do not join this league. And that is a rule made for your safety, okay? So please, if you're a minor, do not join. And then respect and sportsmanship, very big rule. The number one rule on my server is respect for everybody, okay? If you're going to be spewing anything that's hateful, don't join. You will be banned. Then dispute resolution. I don't expect that everyone's going to be friends, right? That's unrealistic. But I do expect that everyone's going to be mature about whatever issues do arise. So if you have a serious issue with someone who has violated the rules of the league and or they refuse to communicate with you in a mature manner, please bring it up with me privately, all right? I will handle it. And then our Discord server, like I mentioned before, will be our only place for communication. So make sure that you are in the Discord server and participating at least semi-regularly. And that includes, of course, improving your team, engaging in discussions, being present for league updates, making trades, stuff like that. I mean, obviously, if you don't have to make trades, then don't force trades, right? But just make sure that you are actively participating. And also remember to set your Discord notification settings so that you don't miss any important updates. Then you have the league schedule and pace. Like I mentioned before, we're going to be doing simulations on a once-a-week basis, but the simulation can happen sooner if all GMs, all human GMs, have committed to their changes for the current in-game day and have confirmed that they're ready to advance the simulation. Then, of course, GMs can only control one team at a time. That should be obvious, but, no collusive behavior allowed. And then also, I encourage you to report any bugs or glitches that you happen to find that could be potentially exploited and result in unfair play online. Then the voting system. Now, whenever a major change is proposed to the league, such as an increase of the cap ceiling or league expansion, all GMs will have the opportunity to vote within the designated voting period on whether or not the change should happen. And the result must be in favor of the majority, which is obviously greater than 50% of those who participated in the vote for the change to take effect. And anything that results in a tie will be rejected. All right, so it has to be greater than 50%. No real betting or monetary gain is allowed within the SSHL. That includes, of course, real money or asset wagers on game outcomes, using real money or assets in trades with other GMs, or any other form of unauthorized profiting off of anything related to the league. And this last one should be obvious, but I am a content creator. I am going to be making content on this league, so I just want to make you all aware that your team's performance, roster moves, and potentially your Discord username, profile picture, and public server messages may appear in my videos. But I just want to make clear that does not include private messages, all right? Private messages will always stay private, but anything that's public on the server does have the potential to appear in those videos. And now as we're on the interest forum, I should be noted that applications will be accepted on a first-come, first-served per team basis. So the sooner you do this, the more likely it is you are to be accepted. The first page is pretty simple. It's just your email. And then, do you own a copy of Franchise Hockey Manager 11? Obviously, this is going to be required as the league will be starting in FHM 11. And we will not be going back to any prior versions. So if you do not have FHM 11, then there's not really much point in filling out the rest of this form. Then for the next section, we have the GM info, so your Discord username. Then your real date of birth, just to make sure that everyone in this league is an adult. Then you can have an in-game date of birth just in case you don't want your actual date of birth being public. Then you have your in-game nickname, which is what I will refer to you as in videos or other content regarding the league. Then of course your in-game first name and last name, self-explanatory. And then you have the in-game nationality. And then after that, you will move on to this team selection page where you will rank your team preferences based on, preferred, secondary, tertiary, willing, and no interest. So in the leftmost column, you're going to select the team that you would most want to play as. Then, of course, in the secondary column, you will choose the team that you would want to play as next if your preferred preference is not available. Then, of course, do the same for tertiary. And then for the fourth column, check all of the teams that you would be willing to manage. Then for the last column, the no interest column, make sure you check every other team that you do not have selected for at least willing, because this does require at least one response per row to advance. So once you have selected one option for each row, then you can move on to the last portion of the form, which is just, if you have any suggestions, then let me know right there. And then, of course, a consent and acknowledgement, just acknowledging that you have read and understand the rules of the SSHL and that repeated or severe violations of the rules may result in being temporarily or permanently banned from anything related to the league. And you also understand and consent to anything regarding your in-game team, Discord display name, profile picture, and or public server messages potentially being used in videos or other social media content, and then you submit the form. So now what I want to do is go through the updated Discord server, as it has changed quite a bit ever since it first went live about 5 months ago. This is the rules page. This is the first page that you're going to see when you join the server, and you have to react to the rules message with this emote to gain the community role. And then if you go down to the roles text channel, which is right below the rules, you'll be able to set your favorite NHL team by reacting to one of these emotes, and that will actually change the color of your display name to whatever your respective team's color is. Then you have the Icebreakers channel in case you want to introduce yourself. You don't have to, it's entirely up to you. Then you have the notifications channel where all the videos, shorts, and potential live streams may appear to notify you guys. And from what I've seen so far, it's much more reliable than YouTube notifications. Then of course you have all the discussion channels, the hockey chat, gaming chat, other sports chat, off-topic chat. But the main thing I want to highlight here are all the SSHL text channels that will be available for all SSHL GMs to see. So of course you have the SSHL info channel, which is basically just the same info that's on the info document. Then you have the rules, which again, the same rules that are on the document, but I figured it'd be convenient to have these both on Discord as well. Then you have the updates channel, which this is where any official changes that are made to the league will be announced. And I also post whenever there is a new league update file ready for download. This is very important for later. Keep that in mind. So if you're an SSHL GM, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that channel. You're going to want to keep an eye on all these channels, really. Then you have the SSHL polls, where we can vote on league changes or anything else related to the SSHL. Then you have the sim schedule. You're also going to want to keep an eye on this one. I'll be posting here regarding the deadlines for the simulation schedule. Then you have the draft channel, where I will be announcing picks for every entry draft that we have. Then you have the trade announcements channel, where completed trades involving human GMs will be announced. Notable signings, where top free agents and prospects that are signed by human GMs will be announced. And then the SSHL awards, where, of course, we'll be having our awards ceremonies. Then you have the private team threads channel. This is where GMs are going to be able to keep track of info that they don't want to be known to other GMs. So it's a good way to communicate stuff such as draft lists to me. Then you have the private negotiations channel. This is where you can create private invite-only threads to discuss trades and other negotiations with other GMs. And then the team availability channel, this is where I will post whenever there is an available GM position in the SSHL. And then this last channel here is for my eyes only. But there's one more thing that I have to show, and that is the SSHL forums. This is where we will be posting any discussions related to the SSHL. That includes players on the trade block, making staff bids, firing staff. That's unfortunately how it has to be done. GMs are not allowed to hire or fire staff on their own. It has to be done by the commissioner, unfortunately. There's also an auction feature on the SSHL forums using the auction bot, where GMs are going to be able to bid on staff members. And once again, that's unfortunately how it has to be done. So every new GM will start with $5,000 in their auction bot account. I just want to make clear right off the bat, that's not real money. It's obviously virtual money that has absolutely no monetary value whatsoever and will be used for the purposes of auctions within the SSHL. Then, of course, we also have tags for the storylines, stats, history, custom players, suggestions. Any kind of discussion related to the SSHL that is not meant to be private will take place here on these forums. And to end off this video, I'm going to show you guys what exactly you need to do after being accepted in the league and how to get everything started. So after you've submitted your application and you've been accepted into the league, I will send you 2 download links that will each start with jasinner.channel, which is my website's domain name, along with the temporary password for your pre-made GM profile. One download will be for the initial league folder, which should be about 1.16 gigabytes, and is called SSHL-onlineleague.lg. You should download and extract this to your FHM 11 saved _games folder. Next, you'll want to download and extract the contents of the updated league folder, which has the same name as the initial folder minus the .lg. Note that the updated league folder should be much smaller in size compared to the initial league folder and should only have an assortment of .dat files along with a db_news file. And then you'll want to move all of the files within the updated league folder into the initial league folder, overwriting each file. Remember to make sure that you're moving the files from the updated folder, which is called SSHL-onlineleague, to the full league folder, which is called SSHL-onlineleague.lg. Very important. Next, you can open FHM 11 and load the SSHL-onlineleague save file. After you load in, you'll be prompted to select your manager profile and input your temporary password. Once you've gained access, remember to go to the manager options menu and set a new password. After you've set your password, go to File, Online League FTP settings. On this screen is where you'll import the accounts data _gms.dat file, which will be sent to you on Discord along with the download links and temporary password. All you need to do on this screen is click on Import Account Data File, locate and open the file, and then click Check Account Data File. You should get a text box confirming that FHM has successfully loaded the account data file. If you do not get this message, please let me know. And one more thing to remember is to go to the online league settings under File, Setup/Options, and then click on the Online League page. Here's where you can click on Download and Update League File, which must be done by each GM every time after the simulation has advanced so that your save file can sync with the master save file where I do the simulating. After updating the league file, you can make whatever changes you need to make, and then you must remember to go to File, Online League, Export your team via FTP. It may take a few seconds to do this, so don't panic if it seems like the game is frozen up. That's normal. If you do not remember to export your team via FTP, your changes will not take effect in my master save file, so make a habit of doing this before saving and exiting the game. So that'll be about it for this one. I think I would like to get at least, I'm going to say 16 teams filled before we start. That seems like a reasonable number. And if you guys have any questions regarding the SSHL, make sure to leave them in the comments or in the Discord. I'll get to you when I can. I think that's about it for this one, so I'll end things off here. But not before I thank the channel members. Of course, thank you guys so much for all your support. And I'll see you guys for the launch of the Simmers and Sinners Hockey League.